morning. Welcome to an episode of Peak Bagging with Hank Lather, the show where Hank Lather bags mostly inconsequential peaks along the PCT. This morning I got up on Volunteer Peak. Some bushwhacking across a wonderful meadow, some scrambling across some big rock granite boulders, but here I am. It's incredible. Down there is Benson Lake of yesterday fame. Cool lake down there. So I came up from somewhere down there, and then went around this way, around through that valley over there, ascended the saddle down there, and then scrambled up here. Amazing. Oh, and a summit register. That's fun. This is a cool little book. It turns out I'm the second one this year, and actually the last one from last year is the person who wrote the review on Far Out that that inspired me to come up here. That's really fun. Wow, these are the most perfect set of wildflowers I've ever seen. Every petal in place, and they're growing in such a difficult place. Good job, guys. All right, back to the saddle. Where I left my hiking poles. I'm gonna enjoy some Pop-Tarts, and that was the boulder field. There she is. You can see where that saddle was that I was. And then the scramble up the boulder field. That was good. It's very good. Wow, that's such a beautiful wall. Incredible. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good. I love you. All right. This is my log bridge to access the waterfalls. Makes for a very convenient path across the marshy area.
All right, we've gone, I don't know, probably not quite a mile. And that is what Henry bagged this morning, which is very impressive. It's not an easy climb even just to get here, and he went all the way up there. Amazing. We've probably showed this before, but this is like an example of where you're just kind of hiking on this granite, and it's pretty easy to not know where to go. But you just kind of maneuver your way, and a lot of times there's sort of like, you know, people, I don't know if they're from the park or other groups or things have sort of set up sometimes rows of rocks that will sort of show you where the trail is, but it definitely can be hard sometimes to know where to go. And like here you can kind of tell, like, oh, there's steps there, but then, you know, it becomes a little more confusing sometimes. But anyway, I mean, you can always get out your map if needed, but it's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever done quite as extensive hiking just on rocks, so it's kind of fun.
There's been a few complaints on Far Out about how hard this trail is to follow, but I actually think this is a feature. It's actually really fun to try to figure out where it goes without looking at the GPS. They put often little rocks in a little line, kind of like a picket fence, to guide you, and it's really nice. It's a fun challenge. And then there's the cobblestone bits. They can get to a little, maybe you see a cut log and you go there. And then there's, you know, maybe some steps, stone steps they've made, or water diversion features. It's fun. I suspect we're going to see a lot more of this, but this would be a fantastic swimming spot. It's deep, right offshore. Oh, wow. It's a big fish. Well, that's probably a foot long. And has a little way to get back up. Okay, so this morning, Pamela woke up as normal. And when she got up from her stretches, or from bending down for her stretches or something like that, she became extremely orthostatic. She didn't pass out or anything, but definitely markedly orthostatic. And then, unfortunately, as the days progressed and we've climbed in elevation, she's gotten dizzier and she's been having some dizziness. So we've just discussed it for about, for the last several minutes, and we've determined that there's likely a combination of altitude and dehydration. And so she's drinking a bunch of liquid IV, we're resting, and then we'll proceed slowly. Turning back's not really an option because we don't have enough food. There's not really exit points. But if things got worse, we would descend in altitude and hit the SOS button. But I don't think we're to that point yet. We will keep you updated. There's a thumbs up from Pamela. So we're going aggressive hydration. All right. These high alpine meadows are incredible. And of course, there's water everywhere. It's amazing.
Wow, this is quite beautiful.
All right, we made it to our pass, and now this is the high point till Lee Vining, and now we're going to descend for a while before we climb up again to Miller Lake. All right, it's 3 o'clock. We're eating lunch. Pamela's still dizzy, weak, feels bad.
I feel very good.
We think not enough to eat, plus altitude.
Did we talk about how we don't really have enough food for this stretch?
I think we've mentioned it, but yeah, for why she feels bad, I think, because you're not particularly susceptible to altitude sickness. Like, you did a 14er without a lot of acclimatization and
I've never had
climatization
before.
Yeah. But I think you are pretty sensitive to not getting enough food.
I'm very sensitive tonight.
And we do not have enough food. Why do we not have enough food?
So, from my perspective, I planned out the right number of days, but the types of food that we had available were not the usual things, and so I was substituting a lot of stuff, and it's hard to know how substitutions are going to translate. I guess you could just go purely on calories, but it's not just about the calories, and so I made my substitutions, and for whatever reason, and maybe it also has to do with just even though we're doing shorter days, just being at a higher elevation or gaining more elevation in a day, but my substitutions do not seem to be working out very well.
Additionally, yeah, for me, I think I had my number of bars per day, and I basically packed my normal amount of food per day, but generally in Oregon, we ended up doing things a little bit faster than we planned.
That's true. So a lot of times we were like kind of eating extra because it's like, oh, well, we have it.
Yeah, and I think that is a big difference.
That's playing a role for me as well.
Yeah.
I would end up eating extra because it's like, oh, we're not going to use it.
Well, you're also...
And you think like, oh, I don't need it. This is just extra. But it's like, well, maybe you did need it.
You're eating about 400 calories less of Welch's a day.
That's not true.
Really?
Maybe.
70 times 5?
I wasn't eating...
350?
I was eating at least 3 a day. Not necessarily 5.
Okay. Anyway,
Mistakes were made, okay?
I've been sharing some of my food with Pamela, and I just gave her about a quarter of a mini tortilla, and she goes, "Oh, thank you. That was so good." Yep.
Tiny Tim vibes over here. Look
Yep.
at all the wonderful things to eat.
Okay, so we've been doing some brainstorming. There's 10 calories per Crystal Light packet. There's 15 calories per noon tablet. We really wish there were huckleberries around here. That would be very helpful.
Where are the huckleberries when you need them?
Pamela had the idea that we could eat our Tums. There might be some calories there.
Calcium, carbonate.
I mean, there's flavoring. They taste sweet. I sense sugar. That's all our brainstorming. Oh, we did consider eating wild mushrooms, but we don't know anything about mushrooms.
We need Nathan to help us.
We do.
He's not here.
A lot of meat on that deer. We need Nathan with his bow. Plus, they're not even scared of humans.
Alright, I scouted a path, but I don't know if I can make the first step. Henry's about to do it now. I'll see how it goes for him. He's quite a bit better at this sort of thing than I am, so nice. Some of the steps are pretty big. Woohoo! Good job!
Wow, this meadow, the lake, looks inviting. It's not that warm out though. I'll probably still go for a swim.
We made it to the lake. Feeling a bit better, which is nice. Henry's gonna go for a swim. Henry, what's the name of this lake?
I forget.
Right, well, maybe I'll look it up. It is lovely.
I gotta go in before I cool off too much.
Yeah, I think once you rest, it's not that hot out.
Oh, the lake should be temperature.
Yeah? The water looks really clear. And it looks like it's
That first dip feeling.
the nature version of the Starbucks motto.
Oh my goodness.
Is the bottom like sandy?
It's mucky out there, but it's rocky sandy here.
Nice. Oh, it's beautiful. That's for sure.
This is a great example of the leftmost path is the oldest path, has been filled in with dead trees. This is the middle path is the middle path, and then a new path is developing over there. I don't know how these are managed, if they're official or they just happen or not, whatnot, but pretty interesting. You don't usually see 3 of those so clearly defined all right next to each other. And now they all converge.
Alright guys, I know this probably looks really easy because there's like a million rocks, but some of them are farther apart than they look, and a lot of them are really slippery. And I made it to the middle and then decided to find a big rock to bail on and take my shoes off because I was just like, I don't think I can do this without slipping off falling. And then I found another way, and I made it across with dry feet, which again is not necessary. You can get your feet wet, it's not that big of a deal, but I was proud of myself because I found another way and definitely went outside my comfort zone. It was fun in a kind of stressful way. I, as you know, love rivers and streams. They're just like one of my favorite things, but it's really cool. That's the one we just crossed, and it just runs along this granite, and I love when these like big granite slabs that we're hiking on have water flowing like next to, on, in, around them. It's like, it's very cool. This is so beautiful. The moon is amazing. And back here, I'm going to try to get a view upstream. See the cascade here. Yeah, this is amazing. This looks like it would be really fun to slide down, although I feel like you could definitely get hurt if you weren't careful. But there's like a pool there. Yeah, this is really beautiful. Literally, look at this. I can just sit here on the granite and I can just reach out and touch the water. Oh, my hiking pole just fell in the water. Look at this. That is incredible. I love this so much. I had to go a little further up and just see this. It's so amazing. And it's really amazing to think too, like a couple of weeks ago, this was probably all covered. Like I'm sure it looks different, you know, every day. It's just so beautiful. It reminds me of those, I think it might actually be called the Mammoth Springs area in Yellowstone. Of course, those are like hot springs, but it's like a similar kind of architecture, and it's really beautiful. And here it is, looking back on the moon, which is amazing. Oh, I could sit here all day. I just think this is the most incredible thing. And that's say goodbye. We have to get to camp, but I love this place so much. Oh, and Henry got here. Yay, Henry! Wow.
I don't know how this is going to turn out, but that moon is incredible, especially with the lit up tops of the mountains. Really remarkable. All right, there's Pamela crossing with headlamp.